They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck. All right, here we are, everybody. Welcome back, WellRED Nation. How you doing? We're all here in the flesh. Well, Cho's not in the flesh. He's Summers in his compound drinking a twisted tea. How about that?
That's right.
Do you often partake in the twisted teas? Are they
only when we're doing podcasts? Like we do POA, I'll have one. I feel like it fits the theme. It's a tea, but it's trash, you know. And today, my reasoning is because I got sick. I've been sick so much the past couple months that at this point I'm like, well, you can't take time off to rest yourself because you already did that and you have work to do and shit. So I've been having to just kind of like get myself buzzed up to like just get through it, you know?
Sure. Yeah. We've all been there.
Let's not explore that at all.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just need a couple drinks just to do, just anything just to get by. Yeah.
Yeah, just to go to sleep. You got to have 6, 7, you know?
Yeah.
These doctors want you to have 4 or 5 a week. Yeah. That's not even...
I do feel like that's just totally
bunch
out
of pussies,
bounds, right? The doctor's suggestion for like.
Let me tell you what I really think. I think alcohol's
poison,
don't know shit.
And
it's super bad for you.
Yeah,
but you just get used to it.
Yeah, I agree with all that, but like culturally, they have to know. I mean, I guess they don't. Yeah. I guess it's not their job to give a shit.
Think about obesity.
I guess it's not their job to care. Their job is to just tell you straight. Well, but I don't believe that. Like they're like I feel like. In my 20s, drank like a fish. It wasn't hitting, at all. Like it was way too much. And so I feel like ever since I got my shit together, see, I'm doing air quotes like I'm talking to my doctor right now because like I feel like I have got my shit together. I'll go.
You be lying to your doctor about it?
No, not anymore. Used to.
Yeah.
But I'm saying now I feel like I don't ever drink when I'm just at home, nothing going on. If I've got something fun to do or whatever, I'll have some, but I rarely ever get drunk anymore. But if you ask me, I drink on the road still not getting hammered, but on the road, I'm on the road almost every week. So when I have to fill out the little chart, how many drinks per week, also, I still maintain something of a tolerance. So anytime I drink, it's like considered binge drinking, even though I don't get drunk because I have 5 or 6 and it's like that's too much in one time. And I do that twice a week. So it's 12 drinks a week. And they're like, oh, that's way too much. And I'm like, that just can't be.
They don't have enough boxes on that thing that you check off because I was having to do it the other day at the dermatologist. And like, here's the thing. For the most part, I genuinely do not drink anymore, right? I don't. But if I'm having a drink, I'll have a good time. But the list says this: how many drinks do you have per week? It always goes per week. 1, right? And then the next one is 5 or more. And then the next one is not at all. And I'm like, I'm literally none of those. Like, can you not give me a box that says usually every 2 months I'll kind of get on one and then I don't much anymore, you know?
Yeah. Can you not give me a box that makes me feel better about alcoholism? I think maybe you got a horse doctor along with your horse bank. For people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's lore that Corey lives in a town where the horses run everything.
Yeah.
So, or maybe just like things have changed because it sounds like they do need to give you another box according to, this is the CDC, which, Dr. Fauci, we don't trust him or we do or whatever. All right.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We do. Binge drinking is defined, we, the collective America. I don't trust any of them because they went to Yale, and I think they're all in some kind of weird cult. Binge drinking is defined as
Skull
a
and bones.
Yep. Alcohol consumption that brings your BAC to 0.08 or more. So that varies by person. Right now, they're being a little more honest than they were when we were in college, right?
I think 0.08 is fucking nothing,
that may be fair,
it ain't.
But
you
they're
should
already,
be able to drive.
Sure. I mean, I can. I do a great job.
Sure.
This pattern of drinking usually corresponds to 5 or more drinks on a single occasion for men or 4 for women. What do you mean by heavy drinking? This is what I think is different. For men, heavy drinking is typically defined as 15 drinks or more per week. I bet if we pushed a doctor on that, and they're like, look, you're under 40, maybe under 50, you're in relatively good shape. Really what we're saying is if you drink 7 drinks one night and 7 drinks the next night, you're binge drinking. If you drink 7 drinks on a Sunday, wait a full 6 days and drink 7 drinks on a Saturday, All right.
Yeah.
Okay, but see, all right.
Come on.
It's 7 days, but we had to say 7 days. It's really more like 4.
Using me just as a real life example here. So say I got a 3-day weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And like I said, if I have, it's not always 5, but also like, I'll order a double to start with. Well, that's 2. That don't seem fair to me either, Like,
Now, you can fit it in a regular vessel.
That's 1 drink.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Well, anyway.
If it's decorative,
Yeah.
like a Route 44
I get mine
style,
in a fish bowl.
that's fine. All right, you're off the chart already.
Yeah. So, but if I have, I'll have 2 drinks, like one when I get there, one as I'm going up, and then I have 2 beers during the meet and greet or whatever.
So is that 2 doubles and 2 beers?
Usually, yeah.
So that's 6. You're binge drinking, according to this.
And I do that, if I do that
If you
every
do it
night
at
I have
work,
a
it don't
show.
count.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now I'm a
Now you're
heavy drinker. And
for that week.
And I don't, but I travel a lot.
Yeah.
But that's not, because I'm such an experienced drinker, doing that, again,
Yeah.
this is over the course of hours, too. This is over the course of hours. So I'm not ever, like, drunk. I'm buzzed, but not drunk off that amount. And then...
You should change that part to me.
What?
You're getting the same amount of poison as somebody who's ripped, and you're not even ripped.
Yeah, but I don't want to be ripped when I'm talking to people. Lord knows what I'll say.
You want to be buzzed.
Yeah. Take the edge off.
I think it's fair to call that heavy drinking. I do similar stuff, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Yeah.
You're more consistent, I feel
Well,
like, than me.
that just don't hit for me.
Why?
I don't like
Here's
that,
where I'm
doctor.
at.
Because, I just don't.
That is hard on you.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
but
I mean, that's how they have to define it as doctors. They're not, the president of the frat.
then I go home. Then I go to the hotel.
Yeah.
Stop drinking entirely as soon as I leave. Get to the hotel. I get a Gatorade or 2. Yes, now I do. I'll get a Gatorade or 2. Drink it, mixing it with ice water. Stay up for another 4 hours or more. Go to bed at like 3 in the morning. Totally sober. Wake up, no hangover the next day at all. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I just feel like I'm, doing
If you're not
doing
hungover,
it pretty,
you didn't drink.
pretty responsibly.
I mean, a lot of
like
people
relatively
don't get-
speaking.
You can't say that, Corey, because a lot of people don't get hungover because they're pickled.
Yeah, okay, those people don't count. But I mean, like, Trae be getting hungover. You be getting hungover. I be getting... Here's
I don't
where
think
I'm
what
at.
you're
I wanna
doing is
know-
problematic. Just real quick, I don't think what you're describing is like a problem, but I do understand why they're defining that as heavy drinking, because I think they're not looking at it as its effect necessarily on your life, which is how you're looking at it.
Yes.
You're like, I'm not hungover.
Right.
I'm not like miserable. I can go home and not drink for 2 weeks if
Yeah.
I'm off the road.
Yeah.
And they're going, no, but simply what you're asking your liver to do, I need to define that as heavy drinking.
Yeah, don't hit.
I think it's the liver more
Okay.
than anything else.
What box should I check? I literally didn't drink for basically 4
Handicap.
weeks, and then drank an entire bottle of whiskey on Thanksgiving. What box do I fucking check when I go to the goddamn doctor?
I think there's a specific type of alcoholic. I can't remember what it's called.
Situational
Me.
alcoholic, opportunistic alcoholic.
That's me. That's me.
A whole bottle of whiskey?
It wasn't a big one. It wasn't like a handle.
Oh, a pint. Oh, wait. A 750 mil?
Yeah,
Is that a 5th?
That's a fifth.
a fifth.
A fifth of a gallon.
Okay, I know, but like, first off, it was from 1 in the afternoon
Yeah.
till 11 at night.
That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? And also,
It's crazy
not
to
a
me
handle.
that you can do that after being off for a month and just like
Yeah.
still text me,
Yeah.
which you were doing, talking mad shit about how you were the king.
Well, no, they were telling me that I was the king.
Yeah, I know.
But
but you told
I agreed
us.
with them. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a happy drunk.
But it's just crazy to me that you can drink a bottle of whiskey and then just like be.
Throughout the whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Do you know what I mean? That is crazy to me.
Oh, no, I didn't think that would be. Well, maybe to you, but like, you got heart problems and stuff, and that ain't your fault.
I don't mean for me personally. Trae, can you drink a bottle of whiskey in a day and then just like text people?
I don't have the longevity to even drink for that amount of time period anymore. Like
Partially because of the whiskey wearing down on you.
Yeah, right. Like I just get to a point where I feel real bad, and not in like a I'm too drunk way. Even just like,
Oh,
I mean, I
boy.
guess I'm too drunk, but I feel terrible
Yeah.
and want to stop.
Right.
So I do stop.
That's part of what I'm saying.
Well, dude, by the end of the day, because may I remind you, this is on Thanksgiving. My only saving grace was that we didn't have to go to Amber's other side of the family like we normally do. So I only had the one Thanksgiving dinner. But like when the Jim Beam and all that finally met, boy, you've never You've never felt worse. Like, it was rough.
Beam?
But yeah, I could text. Yeah. That's the nicest shit they got in Webster City, Iowa.
Now, hang on. What? You've just reminded me of something, though. You said you went like 4 weeks without drinking at all, and then you had this escapade in Iowa on Thanksgiving. You just said, you're like, when I got to that certain point at night, you can't imagine ever feeling worse. That triggered for me a memory. The night you drove to Iowa, or Amber drove to Iowa at 3 in the morning, that was last Monday night, Monday night, Tuesday morning, 3 a.m. Monday night about 11 or 12, you were texting us talking about how you'd been drinking and had to get up in 3 hours to drive to Iowa, and you were like, you can't imagine a human being feeling any worse than I feel right now.
May it please the court. That's fucking Exhibit A right there.
And so,
that was work drinking, though. That was work drinking.
So you don't count work drinking when you talk to the doctor, huh? Well, then, hell, I don't drink at all.
No, but also that was a one-off.
I ain't been drunk in years.
Like, listen.
Work drinking don't count.
This was an isolated incident. So what had happened was, so when we go to Iowa, I try my best to get not only caught up on all my work, but get like a full week ahead so that when I get there, I can just chill, right? Well, a week before, when I was wanting to do my get ahead, I was like deathly ill. And so now it comes to the time where in the span of like 2 days that I've got to not only catch up, but also get a week's worth of shit done. So I popped a couple fucking Adderalls so I could, get it going. And then, at the end of the night when you're still churning on the Adderall, you're like, okay, I got to come down a little bit. So I only had a couple drinks just to level out the Adderall. So it wasn't like I was getting sloshed watching the game. I had like, I don't know, fucking 4 to 5 seltzers, which is like one drink, in my opinion.
Sure.
And then it was really the no sleep that made me feel bad.
No red flags in this conversation.
You know those
like I thought you're like a counselor or something. You know, like a serious person's response to his anecdotes.
Well, an unserious person's response to his anecdote is, "You're like a Mitsubishi Eclipse as a person."
Okay, but again, sincerely,
work drinks.
For the most part, I do not hardly ever drink, and every single day I walk like at least 7 to 8 miles. I've been eating very, very heart healthy. Like, these were just fucking isolated incidences. Every now and then it will happen.
Do you feel judged?
Isolated.
I mean, I know I called you a Mitsubishi.
It was just a few isolated incidences.
Back to back to back. I walk every day. I walk. Say I don't. No one's getting on to you.
I do, though. What I do.
No one is getting on to you. What Trae was simply pointing out was you said, I haven't drank in a month, and he was like, I think you have.
I know you're not getting on to me. What I'm asking is, what fucking box do I check?
Alcohol.
That's all I'm
drunk.
saying.
Yeah, you drunk.
Drunk box.
Okay.
You check the drunk box.
I'm for that.
Also, I want to know this from both of you, because y'all have trash pallets. It is known.
Yeah.
I can't, have you always liked that? Those teas, to me, it's not the tea tastes is that peach?
It's peach. It's very good.
To me, it tastes like the cheap fake peach shit. Like, now look, you make some tea.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm for it.
Okay. I was gonna say, you make some tea, pour some vodka in that. What a drink!
Oh, good.
What a drink!
A homemade ice pick.
Ice pick. Love an ice pick.
Love an ice pick. Love an Arnold Palmer. But
fucking
those things, like, other than like a Mad Dog 2020, I can't think of anything I'd want to have less.
Crawdaddy's the bar I worked at in college. They had $1 ice picks on Thursday nights, I think it was. Yeah, food did hit. But like, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
$1 ice picks. And also,
quarter beers at Cotton Eye Joe's.
I remember when Firefly came out. Y'all remember Firefly?
Yes.
That was the sweet tea flavored vodka.
Oh, yeah.
And this was back when, like,
the precursor to Fireball and Screwball.
This was back when, like, that type of thing was novel, in my opinion. Like, Stoli had a vanilla vodka, and you could get like coconut rum and stuff, but it wasn't like it is now.
I think a law changed or something. Like,
yeah, maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
Putting flavors in it.
Yeah, right. Because that's for kids or something. But then they decided, hell, let the kids get drunk. You might be onto something. Anyway, Firefly came out, and that was a huge hit too. But actually, this is going to not hurt Cho's feelings, but I'm actually with you. A lot of times, if we're together, we get like White Claws. I'd rather just have regular White Claws, but he likes the White Claw teas, which is fine with me because I'm not picky. But I agree. The carbonated, are Twisted Teas carbonated?
No, they're not, and I like that about them because
I like that.
I have. Yeah, well, that's my thing is that, like, I don't really like to drink a lot of carbonated stuff when I'm either performing or doing a podcast because I'd be burping and it makes me bloat a lot. Yeah. Well, I'm very susceptible to anything that causes a lot of gas. Like, if I ate a couple cucumbers before I came on here, I'd be burping and my stomach would be huge. It would be a mess. So, like, anytime I can get something not carbonated, also in this situation, I don't want to drink straight whiskey because I ain't trying to get fucked up. So, like, that's a perfect performance enhancing, because I only bought one from the gas station. I don't have any more in my house. I just got that one. And matter of fact, it's done, and I'm fucking jonesing real bad.
Do you think it's possible that by the time we have our show at Zanies, that is December 14th through 16th, you can go to TraeCrowder.com or WellREDComedy.com for the tickets. The late shows are wide open right now. Do you think it's possible by that weekend, which is I think in 3 weeks or so?
It is, yep.
That you can look anything like the picture from that same weekend 2 years ago, maybe 3 when DJ?
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, last week, I took a picture and forgot to send it to y'all because I thought of that picture because I was sick, and when I'm sick, I retain water fucking...
Yeah, I'm going to send it to Aaron real quick, yeah.
The fact that you can get this so quickly... is psychologically problematic.
I have a folder full of just.
He has a folder for
Corey?
just fat pictures of me. Yes, he does.
Yeah. Is it all your friends? Like, is my corn dog picture?
I have your corn dog picture
in that folder or a separate one?
No, it is that folder.
Separate.
No, it's not. It is that folder.
So you have a folder that it's 10 pictures of Corey and one of me looking fat.
Yeah, but also a few other things. It's mostly pictures of Cho looking fat, but there are other things in there.
But let me tell you how easy it would be for me to look like
Mark
that, Drew.
with the fish.
Yeah.
That I went to high school with.
3 weeks ago, I had been eating really good, and I'd been walking, I'd been working out. I could see my abs again, and I was, like, really proud of myself. Like, the top ones, not all of them, the top ones.
Sure.
And... What
Drew's face is why I cracked up. Drew's face when you said
it's fun. It was just the top ones. But what I'm saying is, like, I didn't have a gut at all. Like, everything was looking good. Then I got sick, and I swear to God, within a matter of 3 to 4 days, I physically looked exactly like that picture. Like, that's how much water I can retain. So yes, it's very possible that at our Christmas shows at Zanies, December 14th through 16th, go to WellREDComedy.com or TraeCrowder.com to get those. I could easily look like that, and I still have that jacket. God
there you go.
Damn
Thank
it.
you, Aaron. There it
God
is.
damn it.
There you go.
All right,
all
so you could
YouTube
look like
viewers,
that.
It was a hell of a night.
Now, my face won't look like that.
Could you also... Your cheeks are pushing your glasses away.
I know.
Now, could you, in the 3 weeks, do the opposite? Is that enough time for you to get, in close to the best shape? If this is close to the worst shape of your life, could you in 3 weeks also get close to the best shape of your life?
Could I get best shape? Now, I'd have to, I've been kind of out of the gym consistently for a while just because of the kid. I mean,
Could you get close?
If I actually dedicated myself for 3 weeks, yes, but I won't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that.
Will you do the other? Because I feel like one of the others is what I'm jonesing for.
I can't do the other.
For him,
I can't do the other because I'm right now at the perfect balance of weight. I'm at the perfect balance of weight where, it's not great, but I'm not too far gone, and I know exactly how to get back to good. If I get back to that again, it's possible that will be my last fat. I'm on 9 or 10.
You're going to die if you have one more fat?
No, just stay fat.
Just stay fat. Yeah.
Like the yo-yo will finally break off the string and just tumble down the street into a Chili's bar and grill.
Yeah.
That's who broke up WellRED, Yo-Yo Ono. Yo-Yo Uno's Pizza. Well, I'm pulling for one or the other, but I understand you're not going to give us that.
Can you do that type of change in 3 weeks? Because for me, it takes forever in either.
I can do it in 5 days.
I can pack on weight pretty quick, but not 3 weeks quick. But any type of
It's borderline impossible for me to do low carb. I don't have the willpower, and I have a candida infection diagnosed, which means that
That sounds Italian.
Hell yeah.
It also sounds like dickhole catfish, by the way. Dickhole Catfish Awareness Month coming up in February, I believe it was, or Dickhole Catfish Awareness Week. Yeah, I have no idea what we're talking about. That's an old thread lore thing.
Yep.
We used to celebrate Dickhole Catfish Awareness Week just because people don't know them. People need to be more aware.
Well,
the little dickhole catfish they got in the Amazon. It's called a candira. I'm pretty sure.
But the very quick point I was making is that if I can low carb it, I'm built like my father. If I can truly go no carbs for like 6 days, in about 2 weeks I'll look like a different person. But I cannot fucking do it. Mm-hmm. The candida literally starts telling my brain that I'm crazy. From what I've read, isn't that wild?
Super wild.
In the spirit of awareness, I do feel like we should let everybody know. DJ, I believe, was the president of the Dickhole Catfish Awareness Group. And if I'm not mistaken, what this was, DJ clued us in, it was these, I'm going to say what I think it was, and I know Trae remembers exactly what it was. Okay, so from what I remember it was, sometimes if you get in a lake, there's this parasite that comes from a catfish that crawls up your dick hole and then enlarges, and then it has teeth.
Now, see, I'm not sure that it's any kind of catfish. We just made it hit harder by calling it the dick hole catfish.
Right. Because you got to noodle it out.
But it's like
that's right.
It's first of all, it's just in South America. It's just in the Amazon, I think.
Man.
And it's a jungle fish, and they got. That's also where piranhas is at. Ain't no telling.
God hates those
wild fish, man.
Piranhas is wild.
I was saying the other day, what if God's real and he just hates those people?
I mean, it's
hates women.
It's pretty and jungles hit and stuff, but I wouldn't.
Everything there can kill you.
It. Yeah, well, that means
the risk
that's the
reward,
same.
Though
Australia too. Everything there can kill you.
That's like sort of it's not a myth, but like very few people die every year from the spiders and snakes there.
Well, speaking of a myth, I don't think the dickhole catfish is a myth. It does exist, but I think there's been like a couple of documented cases where it actually happened. It's not exclusively for humans' dick holes, but like what happens is if you are peeing,
not exclusively for humans' dick holes.
If you are peeing in the Amazon and this fish is around, it's like a little tiny fish. It'll swim up your urethra and it gets in there and it like sticks these spines out.
So I was kind of right.
Yeah,
you got to pee,
and I don't know how much of any of this is.
It'll
accurate.
swim up the stream of your pee.
There you go.
Which is crazy.
So you ain't even got to be submerged.
You don't have to be submerged. No.
See, Aaron,
that's more like a salmon.
Aaron, we need you on the board of Dickhole Catfish Awareness Week.
It's Dickhole Salmon Catfish Awareness Week, and Aaron, you are on the board now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that don't hit.
What a nightmare! Like imagine being told that something going on with my dick, it's hurting. Well, here's what happened. You was peeing out in the water, and a tiny little fish crawled up in your hole, and it's got these talons, and it's did that.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, now
I don't know if you'd have to be told.
You know the only place
you'd have to be told the specific thing that happened, but like
that something happened.
I don't think you'd be like something's off.
I know, but
I think you'd be like, fuck.
Right, but you'd be like, give me a pain pill and an antibiotic. I shouldn't have fucked that girl.
Yeah,
and they'll be like, buddy, we can't get rid of this one.
Dickhole catfish.
We got to go in there and plunge it out.
Sorry, Joe. What were you saying?
I was just saying it would be. You said, imagine being told that, and I was like, yeah, like you're in the jungle, and like somebody's like, yo, you know, the only place that you have to pee since you're a jungle person. Well, if you do that, a catfish will swim up your dick hole and then sort of like Wolverine out into your penis. Like that's a bad thing to hear.
It is a bad thing to hear. You're right. There was one thing
I'm upset we heard it again.
Meant to say way earlier, and then I have a question for you. We were talking about doctors and how their checklist don't hit for me. The other one that really pisses me off tremendously is that they make no differentiation whatsoever between smoking and vaping. And I'm sorry, that shit just ain't accurate. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah,
like that, isn't it? Like you have to fill out how much you smoke, and that's all. That's all they. There's no vaping box. It's just how much do you smoke, and it's like if you vape it all day, you're supposed to check it on there, and they just count that. And I'm always like, okay, but come on,
isn't it because they don't know? They don't really necessarily know yet. Isn't that part of the reason why?
I mean, yeah, I guess
they're still doing the research. And then correct me if I'm wrong. The only analogy I can think of, isn't it like rugby and American football, where rugby is a safer sport overall. But if you get a head injury in rugby because you don't have a helmet, it can really fuck you up. Isn't it that vaping doesn't do the damage cigarettes do, but if you get the thing that you can get from vaping, it fucking kills you.
Now, famous
every
last
time.
words, because I'll say this and end up with it. But as I understand it, most of those cases of like real bad shit is from these
popcorn lung.
Yeah, it's from these like these kids who like you see on like making YouTube videos, fucking Vape Nation stuff, where they like it's insane the amount of vaping that they're doing. Like it's like real over the top. Where I'm just a casual little robot Peter Puffer.
So regular ass robot Peter Puffers don't get popcorn lung.
Well, I hope not. I need to look it up. What do you think, Joe?
Imagine saying that sentence to our past boss.
Listen, this has always been my thing on it. It's completely anecdotal evidence. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even anything. But
you didn't have to say that.
The reason that I just can almost guarantee that vaping, and I'm not saying vaping's good. I'm just saying that vaping is better than smoking cigarettes, is because I was a fucking cigarette smoker for years. I now have not had a actual like regular old-fashioned raw dog cigarette in 6 years, but I have vaped. And the way that I used to feel after smoking cigarettes and shit, I don't feel that after I vape. Now, granted, it might be because I've hit it less. I don't know. I would argue that I've been hitting it more recently. But I used to wake up and I would breathe and I could feel this gurgling in my chest and I could feel all this shit, and I don't feel it anymore. And also, like, I used to get just straight up hangovers from smoking too many cigarettes. I don't get that from vaping. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that it's not doing any damage. I just can't in my mind believe that it's doing the same thing.
Okay,
I feel the exact same way. I've always thought the same thing.
According to what I'm reading, and obviously this is propaganda by Big Cigarette, but of course Big Cigarette sells them too, so this is probably propaganda.
They own it. They made a partnership with Juul.
Right. The biggest dangers is that ultrafine particles can get into it if it's made cheaply.
Yeah, that too.
And that'll fuck you up. Flavorants such as diacetyl, we'll say I said it right, is linked to serious lung disease. My understanding from what I'm reading here, they don't all have that one. And then similar to the particle thing, heavy metals like nickel, tin, and lead are in the apparatus, and sometimes you're sucking that in, and that stuff is apparently awful for you. So maybe you guys might want to invest in like the nicer ones if that's a thing.
I get the good ones. I think
I get
and
the
throw
good
them
ones
away
too,
every
but
couple months or what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like when your car smells different when it's old.
Yeah.
Because it ain't working right.
Yeah.
But I've
put
always,
a catalytic converter on your fucking thing is what I'm saying.
I've always thought that Lewis Black like totally nailed it. He had I don't remember any of the jokes, but he had a bit about how he thinks that everybody's health is like your fingerprints, like they're completely unique to each individual person, and like some people,
I think science backs that up.
And so, like for example, we've been working on the house I grew up in Salina. There's an old feller around there. This dude is 91 years old, right, and chain smokes, and still like drives, and not terribly. Like he will stop by and you talk to him. You know what I mean? Like he's not out of it, and he's smoking and driving around and living his life and stuff at 91, and I guarantee you he didn't pick up smoking at 87. You know what I mean? Like he probably been smoking since 12.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker just fine.
Well,
but,
they say stress
other
is
people
the biggest
kill you
thing.
stone dead.
They say stress is worse than all that stuff.
Great, sweet,
Yeah.
cool.
And that's why that's the theory is why like Keith Richards still crushing it. This motherfucker ain't had to be anywhere at any time he didn't want to be since he was like 20.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you on that. Is like, my grandmother lived to 96, literally never drank a glass of water in her life. Never happened. Never once. She ate bacon grease every day, all that shit. Now, granted, she didn't smoke and she didn't drink, which is what my mom often says when I'm making this analogy. She's like, well, yeah, but she didn't smoke and didn't drink. And I'm like, okay, but her brother, my Uncle Gordon, did all the same shit my granny did. And he smoked, he drank Pabst Blue Ribbon, he dipped, he chewed, all that shit. He did all of that up until he was 96 years old. And at 96 years old, he quit all of it, turned his life over to Jesus, and that motherfucker was dead in 2 months.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what you ought to do. That's
an insurance
actually,
policy.
but if you believe in Jesus, that's actually, like, if you really do think it's real, that's the move.
sinned his whole fucking life, and then at the end, he got a do not pass go directly to heaven.
Yeah, but ain't there versions of Jesus where you can still drink and smoke?
Sure.
Can you just give yourself over to the party Jesus and keep hitting until you die? Like,
I knew a girl.
Even in his version, which was Baptist, you can still do it because, like, it's like once saved, always saved. It's just like, I guess it upsets Jesus, but like, it's but his
not all
was
Baptists
like,
believe
I don't
that.
Do what now?
Or I guess I should say evangelicals. There's plenty of evangelicals who believe in falling from grace, but let's not get into that because it's fucking boring.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know, man. Like he did that and then he was dead. Now, granted, he was dead because he was fucking in his late 90s and had done all that shit. But like, I'm just saying, there's part of me that thinks that he gave up his reason for living, which was to hit.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you were going to say, I'm just saying there's part of me that thinks, like, I'm going to live pretty much forever no matter what. So, you know.
No, not me. I got to. Now, on my mom's side, like, that's the only thing I have going for me is that, like, on my dad's side, all the men just stay dying. My dad it's amazing that he is alive. Like, it's amazing. So that happens on their side. But on my mom's side, everybody lives forever. So, like, if they half out and I get a little bit of both, that and the fact that I genuinely love vegetables and have always eaten them is the only way that I'm making it to, I'll be conservative. I might make it to 80, where no man in my family has ever done that. I might make it to 80.
You may make it to 80, but I really don't think it's just because you eat vegetables. If you was doing that instead of fucking house and steaks, ribs, and booze, but like, I don't think,
but
I think it helps.
I don't do that as much anymore.
Right. Well, but I'm saying if you make it, that'll be why.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, no. I mean, my diet changed. Like, for the past, ever since I got my cholesterol report and it wasn't great, I think I've had one hamburger and one steak. I'm borderline pescatarian right now. I just don't talk about it because that's boring. But like, I basically just eat salmon and tuna and shit.
I so wish I had a text I could recall right now about him sending us pictures of a triple cheeseburger he ate last week or something like that. You know what I mean? That would hit.
I didn't know.
I know. Yeah, sure. Well, as far as we know.
I want to talk about that Lewis
I always tell you when I eat a triple cheeseburger.
All right. Okay. Fuck what I want. I want to talk about that Lewis Black point.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's interesting, and I think as we learn more about DNA and like how enzymes break down, because like all the rage right now is like gut health and getting blood tests to understand how proteins are broken down in your body and how they, I think they call it methylate in your blood. I don't know enough about any of that to speak on it intelligently, but I do know because I have, and I've known this since I got the blood clot. One of the big reasons I got a blood clot is I have an MTFHR gene mutation in my blood. About 30% of the population has that, but underneath the umbrella of those mutations, there's like 7 versions of it. And 2 of them are bad for blood clots. And I have one of those. And I don't even remember which one it is. I learned that then. And they were like, you need to take vitamin B12 and, you know, stop hitting. And I was like, well, I'll do one of those.
Right.
But now, that was 12 years ago. They know so much more about that process. A lot of people are looking more into that type of thing. And obviously, like I said, gut health. And there's all kinds of research coming out of like attaching that to, I don't know why I said attaching that is what's causing so many heart problems, mental health problems. Even they think maybe autism and stuff like that. So gut health, and related to that, what you're eating or not eating as far as how your body can break it down. Again, I can't speak on it intelligently much beyond that. It has something to do with like your blood's not pulling out what it needs. So you're eating vegetables, as Corey said, but your body's just not getting what it should from them. You don't take it in as much as other people.
I totally buy that.
Right.
I mean, I think it's standard science now. I wasn't reading it on like, you know, one of Andy's websites or whatever, but I'm making that point to say I completely agree with you, because we're talking about DNA now. We're talking about gene mutations, and then obviously gut health can be affected by the environment. But to your point, I think it's way, way, way more individual than we thought. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do think we can make broad generalizations. If you're out here drinking and smoking every day, probably bad.
Probably.
But individually, you might have the Mickey Mantle gene.
Right. I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
Sorry if I already should have this information and somehow missed it in the thread or something. But so, like, as you yourself pointed out on Twitter recently, you walk around right now looking like the lady from Matt Rife's joke.
Oh yeah,
I deleted that.
Okay. Anyway, if y'all are listening to, Matt Rife, the comedian, made a joke in a special about a woman with a black eye, and people got mad about it. You have a black eye. But did you tell us what happened? Because we've, like, a wonderful recurring segment on this show, I feel like, is Drew's confrontations.
Yeah.
Drew,
yes.
Anytime you have, and now you come in here with a black eye.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Yeah.
It begs the shit out of the question.
Right. Well, unfortunately, and
it don't hit this time.
I've had 3 black eyes over the course of WellRED.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they're all the same exact boring story. I was playing basketball. And caught an errant elbow or shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been in an altercation that led to someone laying hands on anybody since probably 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What about
Andy,
that dude that tried to stab you at the Y?
Yeah, but he didn't put his hands on me.
Yeah, he just thought about it.
He just got his knife out, and I left.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then I
Good
came
call,
back,
by the way.
Then I came back with a tire iron, and then I left again.
Does that count Andy's situations?
What do you mean? You asked me if Andy's ever hit me?
No. Oh. You said you'd never gotten into it. No, I'm sure she has. But no, you said you hadn't been in an altercation since you were 24 that resulted in hands being thrown. But, like, you've also said before that Andy will be in a bar, talk shit to the biggest motherfucker in there, and now you've got a situation on your hands. So the
best story of that, and I've probably told it before, but it's been long enough that it'll be fun to tell again. We were at a concert. We were dancing. I think she was beside me. And I'm, like, looking at the stage, moving your head as you do at a concert. And then, like, I kind of looked to my left, and she's gone. And I was like, all right, I guess she went to the bathroom. But, she didn't tap me. That was weird, whatever. And then, like, I hear a noise, like a, and, like, kind of turn to see the noise. And there's, like, a crowd kind of dispersing. And then I see a lady fall onto her back. That lady was my wife.
Oh.
The reason that I didn't process that it was her was this guy shoved her so hard. She had her hair up. He shoved her so hard that her hair tie came out and her hair went everywhere. So I was like, damn, somebody shove that lady. That is my wife. I walk over that direction. She gets up, starts going at a giant. Played football at UT.
Holy shit.
Not a starter, but like
still.
a giant man.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
A giant 21-year-old man.
He shoved the ponytail holder out of her hair? Damn. That's like somebody gets hit by a car and their shoes fly off or something.
I'm like walking that way. She gets up in his face. People get between them. Now I'm processing what happened. And I know I've told this on here before, but anyway, this is how I tell it. This is true. I'm walking towards that guy. She is now fine. There are people keeping them apart. And I'm walking towards him, and in my head, I'm thinking, please, God, someone recognize that I'm walking towards this man and grab me.
Yeah.
Because he is going to beat the fuck out of me.
Right.
But I genuinely can't not at least get in his face.
Right.
Because I just saw him, like, shove the fuck out of my wife.
And no one's responding to that? Like a bouncer or someone that works there.
They are. I now know because I got right to him, and I think I got out like, what the and then I got grabbed, carried out,
that's
like
awesome.
removed from the situation. Everyone got separated. What had happened was we're sitting there dancing. Dude walks by, grabs Andy's ass, but also like cups it, like gets his fingers all the way in there. She turns around. There's 2 dudes. None of them are claiming it, none of them. And then she's like, she said something like, who the fuck did that? Like, she walked away. I didn't even hear this. So she, like, walks towards him and is like, who the fuck did that? Or who the fuck do you think you are? Or why the fuck do you think you can do that? Or something like that. And he just kind of smirks at her and goes, what are you talking about? And she shoved him so hard. And he wasn't expecting her to because he wasn't, like, bowed up, that he kind of took a step back. He hit a table, like a coffee table in the lounge part of Blue Cats that was like away from the stage, went over it
What?
Fell on his ass.
What?
That embarrassed him.
I bet.
Which is why he did that. And I didn't see or know about any of that. And then the only other part of the story that really, I guess, matters is we were outside. They had a cop that was like getting overtime to work there in uniform, like that moonlighting deal they can get, you know? And Andy was like, fuck this is what this guy did, blah, blah, blah. And then he, of course, was like, did you see it? Did you see him actually grab you? And she's like, pull the cameras. Right. And then he gave her the whole, like, is this really what you want to do? You want to press charges? We got to go to court.
Yeah. She's like, and did you say he plays for the Vols? Okay. Well, listen, I don't think we need to elevate this. This doesn't seem like such a big deal to me.
We found that out later, but he was also
playing
a scrub.
South Carolina on Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, buddy, last time we went down to South Carolina, we didn't take our best goddamn defensive player, and it cost us the fucking game and a chance at the goddamn playoffs and a rematch with his fucking team. So it's not like we would have cared. Sorry.
No, I know it does, yeah.
and all he did was call our quarterback a pussy.
Yeah, I got my college girlfriend had something like that happen once at a bar in Panama City Beach, and it was
great town.
I did the thing where, like, you know, like she said, you're walking over, like, please God, someone see this happening or whatever. I like basically looked to make sure there was a bouncer there, and then shoved the dude.
Hell
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Nice.
I was like, hey, motherfucker, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, let me go. No, this isn't fair. Don't drag me out. Don't kick me out of here. Yeah, because he had two friends with him, and it was just me. So it's three dudes, but only one offending guy. So But anyway,
she threw a guy
I did not want that smoke.
She threw a guy into a wall in Miami for calling her fat.
Well, that's just not accurate.
And, yeah, he was like doing that negging thing when that was a thing.
Yeah.
He like
was this long enough to go that perhaps he meant it PHAT?
Nope. No, he was definitely like he was like, y'all are just two fat bitches or something like that, or you're a fat bitch and your friend's disgusting. He bought him drinks and they were talking.
So that was like, it's so funny that's like a
you
technique.
Dumb fat bitch.
Yeah,
no, I'm just doing a thing here.
Yeah, that's a pickup technique.
Well, according to
It's
Andy,
like, you're a fat bitch and your friend's disgusting.
Well, according to Andy, it started.
Anyway, you want to get out of here?
Wait, she said it. She
Can't believe it didn't work.
She said it started. He was like, you know, you're not as hot as the ones I usually go for, to her friend, just like that kind of thing. And then when Andy was like, you're being rude, that's when he was like, well, you're a fat fucking bitch. Anyway, she shoved him into the wall. I didn't know any of that. Like, I just saw an altercation. They got separated. He gets kicked out, pushed outside. She's furious. Like, I'm having to like restrain her. I pull her into the bathroom. And I'm like, what happened? And then she's like mad at me. She's like, oh, you're going to pull me in there? I'm like, what? She's like, why didn't you hit that guy? I was like, what guy? What the fuck happened, you know? And then we went outside, and his friends, you know, there was like always distance. They were holding him back. He took his shirt off. His buddy said, I'm a nurse. I just want to help people. And my friend Grant started laughing so fucking hard that it diffused the whole situation.
Well, I mean, that is a funny thing to say.
And Grant, people were still kind of going at it, and Grant became like, guys, he's a nurse. Grant was hilarious. Anyway.
So this is apropos of nothing, but I watched the movie First Man on a plane recently. That's the movie about Neil Armstrong. Ryan Gosling plays Neil Armstrong. It was written and directed by Damien Chazelle, however you say it. Whiplash, La La Land, Babylon. He also made this movie. It's not near as wild as those other movies are. It's like just kind of a straightforward biopic, but it's a good movie. But none of that is the point. The point is, I didn't realize or had never really processed or thought about the fact that, you know, we went to the moon. We were in the space race with the Russians, right?
Yeah.
But really,
Scoreboard,
sure. But America was kind of the 2007 New York Giants of the space race, because
we were way behind.
They beat us on like literally every single major milestone of the space race, but nobody remembers or cares because we got the big one. We won the Super Bowl. We got to the moon.
Isn't that one
and
of the
that's all that matters. But like they did that Sputnik, Yuri Gagarin or whatever, like first animal in space, first man in space, first woman in space, first crewed space flight, first spacewalk, first satellite before all that, that's Sputnik. Like everything until we got to the moon first, and I just think that's kind of wild.
Isn't that a huge pillar of the fake moon landing conspiracy? Isn't that a big part?
Yes.
Of it?
I don't know. I don't know much about the fake. So yeah,
No, it is.
I mean, I guess
we
makes
can't
sense.
beat them, but we can make the world believe we did.
Okay.
Because we have Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of people's arguments were like, number one, like, hey, we'll just make our PR do this. Like, we've got all this, we've got the best directors in the world, whatever the fuck. But
Kubrick
also,
is who the main one people love to say did it.
Yeah, right.
Right. But also it was just like the people who were really thinking about it were like, how is it that we couldn't do all of these other things as quick as them, but then we did arguably the harder thing? You know what I mean? And I guess in my brain, I'm like, I don't know. I guess they had a singular focus of like, we ain't worried about all that other shit. We're just going to get to the moon. And then I don't know. But yes, you're right, Drew. I'm big into, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I love reading them. So that is one of them.
Most of those accomplishments have to do with human safety once in space. Getting a man in space and bringing him back. Getting a woman in space, bringing him back. Animal, blah, blah, blah. I think you could argue that, like, we were behind in that regard and eventually caught up enough to them, but maybe we were always ahead of them in distance. Because that was the big thing with the moon, is like, how the fuck do you get that far? You got to be light enough to leave the atmosphere, but then have enough fuel to continue going, I think, as I recall from, like, Apollo or whatever. So, like, maybe it's just like, yeah, they were beating us on safety. When the fuck did America give a shit about safety, though?
We really cared cared less about safety than the Russians. In my head,
That's hard to believe.
I'm not arguing.
We were
with
once a great country.
I'm not arguing with the part about us, but I mean just from them.
We were once a great country.
I figured they'd throw anything at space, like regardless of what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they beat us then, because like how many of them died?
That's what I thought you were going to say. There's a theory about that. I think it's called like the lost cosmonauts or something like that. There's a theory that they lost a shitload of them that people don't know about because they just didn't release information.
The space gulag we send you.
Yeah, they just shoot them up there, let it ride. The conspiracy theory thing,
the moon one.
Yeah. What else? I mean, what else you got from that? Joe, you said you read up on conspiracy theories. Where's that rank on your list?
It's one of the few that, as far as I know, isn't racist. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Here's the thing, like when
the Jews don't come into it at all.
I don't. Well, maybe Hollywood. Maybe Hollywood.
I'm with you, Drew. Yeah, nothing I've seen on it is racist, and trust me, I control F the shit. I try to find that, the racist stuff.
Usually comes back to the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing about the fake moon landing thing that like always makes me go, I don't even want to entertain this anymore, is because like there's just no way they wouldn't have had to kill those people. You know what I mean? Like they can't have that many people have this lie. Like that's so big of a thing to carry, and they didn't kill any of them. So like, how the fuck?
How you know they didn't kill?
I'm sure that and that these are clones.
Who you talking about? You talking about the astronauts?
Yeah, the astronauts. People.
I mean, those are ops.
Well,
like I can easily argue, but the astronauts would do the lie. But whoever built the set, you just murder them.
That's what but that's what I'm saying is like a big part of that theory is a lot of people suggest that Stanley Kubrick was the one who shot it all. Mm-hmm. So like you would have, and dude, Stanley Kubrick ain't somebody you can trust with information. That motherfucker was a lunatic.
Maybe you got something on him.
If that was true. Or they were like, hey, if he starts talking shit, everybody will be like, well, Kubrick's on one again. I don't know, but like.
Right, and they gave him a pile of money to make his movies,
It's funny to picture him like getting into a fight with his fake astronaut actors because of doing the 150th take of the fucking small step for man line or whatever. It's like, I think we fucking got it, Stanley. But that's
one for safety.
That's why you hire him, because he's a perfectionist, right? So
the shadow thing, do you know about that?
Yeah.
Like they go the wrong direction or different directions. Like there's a few parts of the pictures where it's like that shadow's facing this way, this shadow's facing the other way. That don't make sense.
And the way the flag moved apparently was inconsistent with what we later learned the atmosphere would have been.
But none of that's actually true, right?
No clue, dude.
Well, who fucking knows? But no.
Okay, because like
By the way,
Joe
if it
Rogan,
is, I think that makes America more badass.
No, hang on. Come back to that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Joe Rogan was a moon landing denier, right? And then he at some point switched, and now he acknowledges it happened.
I also don't know, but
I believe so. Well, I feel like if Rogan made that switch, then he somewhere in there he found out enough that, that convinced him.
Yeah.
And he was hardcore in the other direction.
Yeah.
So all those questions must have answers, I have to think. I've just never looked into it.
The only one I've looked into is Flat Earth because I've been
But the people answering them is the U.S. government.
So you do kind of think we faked the moon landing. Listen, it's
now
okay.
I do. I didn't before this, but now I'm in.
You said it makes America hit harder. I just don't agree with that. I love all that space shit, all that moon shit.
Too.
I mean, look there.
Yeah, but Corey loves entertainment.
Sure, I love entertainment too, but like the feat, that accomplishment.
I think it's inarguably better. Look, I would rather that we did it, but it's inarguably harder to pull off a grift that big for this long.
Going to the moon
at this point, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, okay, you say at this point, but that's the thing.
The Russians had already done it.
The computers they had at that time were like calculators, basically.
Right.
Like this phone is so much more powerful than anything they were working with. In like the span of 60 years, we went from the Wright brothers to walking on the goddamn moon.
Okay, but at what point?
There's no greater accomplishment in our history than that.
But we've done it
keeping people still believe we went to the moon. I mean, there are some people who doubt it, obviously. That is what makes it. It's like Brady's longevity to me.
Yeah.
The day that they faked it, going to the moon would have been more impressive. The fact that it ain't come out yet, I don't think it's more badass, sorry, Corey, but I think it is more impressive.
No, you're right.
I think it's harder to do.
I'm with you.
Which is how you know it ain't true.
I agree.
Because they,
100%.
Because they couldn't do that. The government couldn't do that.
And then also, like Apollo 13 was like the 13th time. Like we kept going back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Badass was the wrong word.
We should have kept on going back.
For what?
We should have been on Mars.
We should be there right now.
Yes, we should.
I wish I was there.
There should be a colony on the moon, and we should be going. Ben had been to Mars and back. Because if we'd never stopped and kept putting the same kind of resources into it as we had at that time, we definitely would have done all that shit.
Let me ask you this, and this is really a question for Andy.
That all just hits harder.
But all the witches.
Yeah.
Like the moon makes them, be buttholes 1 month a year or whatever it is.
Sure, yeah.
How's that work if you're on the moon? Like if Mercury's in retrograde but you're on Mars, does it matter?
Has to matter.
Yeah, so they just lose their minds when they get on the moon.
What about
madness?
a baby? What about a baby born on the moon or on Mars? What's their astrological situation?
Is a werewolf
and can they be president?
Perpetually a werewolf if he's on the moon?
Whoa.
Yeah.
He can't. He just pure werewolf all the time. He don't ever transform.
Oh shit! That's what those witches are after. They want to fuck them werewolves. Corey,
probably.
That is a great fucking question.
What did he say? I was on my werewolf.
What did I ask?
Can they be president?
A baby?
No, because if you're born in a U.S. territory, you can be president. Is that right? You don't have to be born. So if you're born on the moon, can you be president?
If you're born in Puerto Rico, you can be president, I think.
If we had a moon colony, it would be us. It would be America.
Yeah, of course.
It would count as America, I'm pretty sure. So if a baby was born on a moon colony, then that would, yeah, you'd be an American citizen, I think.
Don't you think that people in Mississippi would not like a person born on the moon?
Yeah. Yeah. A moon, it rhymes with moon. And it's a slur. No, I was thinking like raccoons,
Not sure I like someone being born on the moon. Don't love the comparison you made and then me saying that sentence back to back.
You're like, oh, those people are right.
But the moon's been fucking up my life for a while.
Yeah, right.
It's just like every time the moon's fucked up, everything's fucked up. See, that's what I'm saying, man. We got to start taking people seriously and then adjust how we're like. People say, "Oh, God's real and He created everything." Well, then fuck Him. Cancer's bullshit.
Right. It is.
Oh, well, the moon is why I'm being a dickhead right now. Well, then fuck the moon.
Yeah, moon don't hit.
Right.
Moon does hit.
I know.
Moon does hit. Maybe it's Mercury that don't hit.
Yeah, it's always going into retrograde and stuff. Do all the planets go into retrograde? Because Mercury's always the one that people say. Like, that's the joke.
I don't know, dude.
That's the one I always use. That's one everybody uses. Mercury's in retrograde. But, like,
I came up with the
Jupiter go into retrograde?
I don't know. I came up with the line, Mercury's on government aid again. Yeah. And it's, like, murdered, like, 400 times in a row where I put it in the joke, and the other night I got nothing.
I hate that.
And I'm so
That's the
fucking
worst.
mad still.
I hate that. Yeah.
Anyway, it's got to. What does retrograde mean?
I was about to ask you that. If anybody here knew, it'd be you. I feel like because
I have no idea.
No idea what
I
retrograde
think that's
means.
the point. Nobody knows what it means. That's why those fucking hippies just get to say it and be absolved of their fucking shitty attitude.
But retrograde is a word that exists outside of the context of Mercury, correct?
I guess it's the only time I've ever heard it.
Yeah. No. Like. A retrograde, normally just the regular word means directed or moving backwards. To go backwards, basically.
Mercury's moving away. That affects the oceans. It also affects the water in your body. That's the very dumb theory.
If the planet in their orbit appears to be moving backward from Earth, relatively speaking, I guess that means that's when it's in retrograde. I guess.
Here's the problem, though, with Jupiter. I think Jupiter's so far away.
That's what it is. They're just optical illusions. That's when a planet appears to move backwards in its orbit. These are optical illusions, but are still thought to have an impact on an astrological level.
Well, we do get further
That's
away
hilarious.
and closer to other planets, depending on how we and they are spinning around the sun. But I think even in their world, Jupiter wouldn't matter because it's so far away. Like the pull of Jupiter, I don't think has much of an effect directly on Earth. Indirectly, it does because it's affecting whatever planet's next to it on down the line. But there's a certain balance, and I think the argument is like, as we're moving this way, and then Mercury's moving this way, we pass. We get close to each other. We're on the same side of the sun at the same time, and that probably does have an effect on our tides. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
I think just sometimes you're a bitch. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're sad.
Does the moon seem to line up with the period situation?
The moon supposedly does have an effect
periods?
on that. It doesn't cause it, but
That's the moon's fault. Fucking periods.
man, the moon's been fucking up. That's what I'm saying. The moon's got the best PR person in the game. I think the moon don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
They got me when they were like, it's cheese. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was always in on that.
The moon was the first inanimate object that I ever referred to as a cho, I believe.
It was.
When we
That's
first-
100%. Moon's a joke.
Moon's a cho. Yeah, because it's made of cheese. Got a big face
And
on
big
it.
and round.
Big round face on it. Looks
And
like
everyone
you're-
thinks it hits and it don't hit.
Right. I was getting there, but yep.
Saturn. I know I mentioned before that sharks be older than trees.
I hate it.
I know you
think
hate
about it.
I know you hate it.
I brought it up the other day to somebody.
So, do you know sharks also?
I believe
be-
Drew's upset at the arrogance of sharks for
Well,
being
did you
older
know
than
that
trees.
Where do they
sharks-
get off?
Did you know that sharks also be older than the rings of Saturn?
Dude, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah.
I thought them was ever.
No, not ever. Mm-mm.
How? So there
See,
was,
Drew, we about to wrap it up.
there was a point when it was goddamn sharks, but Saturn ain't grown its rings yet.
Yeah, indeed. Ain't that wild? Sharks, dude.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, because I mean we're talking like hundreds of millions of years here, and so I mean, hundreds of millions of years ago. So yeah, although Saturn is about 4.5 billion years old, its rings are thought to have formed just 400 million years ago, making them younger than the Earth and many of its animals, such as sharks, which first evolved 50 million years before that. Dude, these timescales.
It's crazy.
Sharks have been around for 50 million years
Yeah.
before Saturn's rings developed, which was 400 million years ago.
Dude.
And all of recorded human history is what? Not even 10,000 years? It's like
Are sharks
7,000, 8,000
Are sharks
years?
dinosaur fish?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's
Yeah.
the difference? Like, they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
Because I guess, like, the fucking meteor, like, it didn't take out the water shit, which
no,
is
meteor didn't take out the water
wild.
shit. That's right. Yeah, it took out a bunch of the water shit, I think, but not all of the water shit. Well, there
not
used
sharks,
There
though.
used to be megalodons, right? That was like that was like the dinosaur shark. It was just a big ass shark, though. But
right.
yeah. Now
I'm a fan of megalodons and the film franchise that they have inspired.
the documentary film franchise, The Meg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hosted by Jason
shit,
Statham, tracks his adventures searching for the Meg. You know, some people actually think that the Meg is real. Of course, some people think mermaids is real and Atlantis is real and whatever else.
They Wait a minute. They think that the Meg, like in a Bigfoot kind of way?
Yeah.
Like that it's, or a Loch Ness Monster, I guess, would be a better comp?
Yeah, just that some people think that Megs are not actually extinct megalodons, that they do exist somewhere out there. Like
how much of that is, do you think people are like me and they just want to believe, like they don't really believe something?
Like it would hit if that was the case for them,
yeah,
so they just say that's the case.
Like a lot of the shit, a lot of the shit that I quote believe in, I don't really believe in it. It's just that I want it to be true so much that I just pretend that it is because it hits.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty much like that with aliens, I guess. I think about it.
No, they exist.
Right. See, I agree completely.
I mean, they're fucking doing surgery on them in Mexico. I don't know if you've seen Facebook, buddy, but like, goddamn.
I've seen it. Well, listen, it's about time to wrap it up. Drew done runt off. He couldn't handle the shark news. Drew got some bad shark news and had to go. But
Trae, do you know something?
What?
Our book Round Here and Over Yonder right now until December 1st, you can get it for half off on Audible. So if you want the audio version, you can do that. You can also get the full, just the text version too. Mm-hmm. The book. Oh yeah. The book. Yeah, the book. You can get that wherever you get your books and stuff like that. So I thought that was neat. If you're trying to, save a little money on you can gift someone the Audible for 50% off.
Does hit. You should do it. You also should come see me. I'll be in San Francisco this weekend, then Northwest Arkansas next weekend. Then the three of us, back together again in Zanies in Nashville, December 14th through the 16th. Go to TraeCrowder.com, get you tickets, and you got links to the book on there too. Check it all out and listen to Puttin on Airs, our Fancy Stuff podcast, Weekly Skews, the political podcast, all that, all the Skeewniverse stuff. Check it out. We appreciate you.
Yeah, and check out bonuscorey.com. That is my Substack. That is where I'm also building this entire fictional world called Chickalookie. We've got audio dramas. There's a Chickalookie newsletter. There's Pastor Petey on Sunday bringing you the good word, the official preacher of Chickalookie, doing a lot of fun stuff over there. We've also now, for all of our citizens of Chickalookie, we have Chickalookie merch. It's a lot of fun. bonuscorey.com. You can subscribe for free, but you can also subscribe for $5 and support the work, and you will get some bonus things and stuff. So that's that. Last Trae said, Puttin on Airs. Grab our book. Come see us at Zanies. Also, thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Oh, and I'm going to be in Asheville, North Carolina at the Gray Eagle on December 28th. Where was I?
Tune in next week if you got nothing to do.
You got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night. Fuck Drew.
Skew. Whoop. All right. Bye.